Alright, so for those who are new to the idea of animating and you're kind of liking the simplicity of this movement, you can try playing more with opacity, rotation, position, scale, and all that. If you're willing to step forward and challenge yourself, we are going to try animating the extras, so like the eyebrows and the mouth. For those who use the handout I made, there was a body for you to draw your critter, and then there was another body next to it to put some kind of emotion to it. And that's where this will be useful for. So I'm gonna go back to my Illustrator file. And right now my critter doesn't have any particular emotion. It is smiling, but there's nothing specific yet. And I'm gonna try to add an action. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, well, you first have to think of what action you want to have, which most of you already have on the handout. For Mr. Potato, I want the action to be yawning. He's a critter who likes to yawn. So with particular actions or emotions, you may have to add extra features. Okay, which is why, in fact, there's 2 layers for mouths. Okay. Our mouth 2 has nothing on it because we only have one mouth. But let's say if I want to make Mr. Potato to be yawning, okay? That means I want him to look something like this, and I'm gonna show you over here what I want him to be look like when he's yawning. Oh. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so this is when Mr. Potato is just being Mr. Potato. This is when Mr. Potato is yawning. And notice there is one extra thing that we have to draw, okay, which is the mouth. I don't have to draw the eyebrows again because I can just use the rotation tool to rotate the eyebrows. Same thing with the nose. Yes, it did get bigger, but I can do scaling effect on the Illustrator, on the After Effects. Changing from this line, the smile, to a yawning motion, it's a completely different shape. So I can't do that on the After Effects, which is why I mentioned it's convenient to have this Illustrator file open. Okay, so now that I have created an emotion or an action for the critter, what I have to do is I can actually delete the same body parts because you can do those actions in After Effects. But what I do need to have is this mouth. Okay, placed right on top of the normal mouth. So it looks a little confusing because you have all these different same features but different sizes or shapes layered, but that's just how the layering works for Illustrator and After Effects. I just have to move this mouth to mouth 2 because that's one type of mouth and that's another type of mouth, and you can have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many mouths as you want. So yeah, and you want to save. Okay, we're gonna go back to the After Effects, and guess what? Did you see that? So when you create something new on the same Illustrator file that you're using for After Effects, it automatically updates. Okay? So it's actually nice to have some blank artboards just so that we can add stuff later and we'll still have it. Okay? So an important thing to remember is that the same file on Illustrator and After Effects, they're related. So let me show you that if I happen to decide to change the color of the potato, or the body, I guess, I want to make him lighter, okay, more pale. And if I save and then I go to After Effects, it automatically updates for you. Okay, but I don't like him pale, so I'm going to go back to its original yellow. Save again. Okay. All right. So as we know, we have our Mr. Potato kind of stretching / yawning, and I want to try to find that point where the arms start to go up. And I want the yawning to happen as the arms are going up. So I'm gonna use the slider to kind of locate where I want the open mouth to start to appear, and I'm thinking somewhere around here. So what I need to do first is I need to go to my original mouth, which is the smile. Okay, I need to get rid of it around this point. So again, I'm going to click on this stopwatch icon and mark that from the start to this diamond point, okay, I want the smile to be there. But soon after, because Mr. Potato's gonna start yawning, I need that smile to disappear. Okay, so I'm gonna move slightly to the right because the transition has to go fast. And then change the number from 100 to 0, click enter, and now the smile is gone. Okay. Eventually though, Mr. Potato's not going to yawn for 10 seconds. So right when the arm's gonna come down, I'm going to mark the diamond so that the smile can reappear. Okay, so that's our time frame. And within this time frame, Mr. Potato's gonna be yawning. Okay. Alright, now using this layer as a reference, I'm gonna open up mouth 2, which is the one with the open mouth. Again, using the slider. Now, this one is different than the other actions we've done because with the other actions, we are getting rid of it in the middle of the animation. For this one, we need the mouth to be disappeared at first and appear in the middle of the animation, which is opposite from the other layers. So we're gonna start from this very start. Okay, you're gonna change the opacity to 0. Okay, and there isn't supposed to be a diamond. This is just how it's going to start. So mouth 2 is going to start from opacity 0. And when it reaches this point, we need the mouth 2 to appear. So where we have the diamond, first diamond for mouth 1, you want to also have a diamond for mouth 2. Okay. And then a little over to the right, you change the opacity to 100 for the second mouth, and notice how the mouth changes. Okay. Again, move over to where the smile appears again. Okay. Click the diamond to mark that from here to here, the mouth is going to remain open. Move a little to the right. Change the opacity to 0 so that Mr. Potato can smile again. Okay, I'm going to play it from the start. Okay, now I also wanted some kind of animation on the eyebrows as well, because right now it just doesn't really seem like he's yawning. So I'm going to go over to my eyebrow layers, and when Mr. Potato has his mouth open, okay, remember I'm on eyebrow to the right one, this eyebrow can start rotating. Okay, but again, before we rotate anything or before we make any kind of action to layers, you click to mark that from here to here the eyebrow remains as is, and as he's yawning, this eyebrow is going to rotate. Now I'm rotating and I'm noticing that it's kind of at a weird position. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna angle it to however I need it to be. Okay, and then I'm going to use this blue slider, bring it back to where the first diamond is for the rotation. I'm also going to put a diamond for position. Okay, because I want the eyebrow to not only be angled but moved closer to the eye. Okay, and right when the eyebrow is all angled, okay, which is at the second diamond, I'm going to change the position of the eyebrow like this. And then I can always go back to the diamond and increase and change the numbers, increase or decrease. So notice I added 2 transformations at the same time, and notice what happens when I play. Okay, so it's rotating and repositioning at the same time. Okay, and I'm noticing this transformation is happening too quickly for me, so I'm going to move them farther apart so it takes more time for that transition. Okay, Now I have to do the same for the other eyebrow. So I'm going to get all my options, use the slider so that it's aligned. Click, click to mark, move over to where the second diamond is, change the position. Okay. And now we have a more complicated animation. You know what? I'm kind of liking the eyebrows just remaining there. So I'm not gonna go back to the original location of the eyebrows. I'm liking the way it looks. Kind of seems like Mr. Potato's very content after the yawn. Maybe it's one of those like, ah, that was a good day kind of a yawn. Okay, so you can make all sorts of decisions here. It's up to you. So I'm done with eyebrows. Now I did want to also increase the nose as he's yawning. I just feel like when you yawn, your nose feels bigger. So let's go to the nose layer. Okay, making it bigger, so scale. And then as he's yawning, make it slightly bigger. Mark somewhere around here so that the nose remains big during this period. And then as the arms go back, his nose will reduce size. Okay. So let's play that from the top. Okay. So sometimes you do have to go back to your actions to make sure the animation is smooth. This is a tutorial, so I'm going to stop here, but feel free to go back to the Illustrator. Use this blank layer to add a new shape. Okay. Wait for it to appear on the After Effects and play around with it. Again, we are going to save and let's move on to the next chapter.